Hello folks, and welcome to Linux for Seniors. Today I am going to be talking about the MX Linux Xfce desktop and custom menu and custom menu icons. An example would be that icon there and changing maybe some of these silly icons here. This is not everyone's cup of tea. This is more considered for medium to advanced users. So, but if you are wanting to see some of that, then of course hang on and watch the remainder of my video. Linux for Seniors. Well, you can go to my YouTube site and read the About section because otherwise it'll take me too long to get this thing going. I do encourage that you subscribe, and if you don't want to subscribe, at least bookmark me. All of my videos are over 2 minutes. They all also have chapters or timelines, so you can look at those when you hit stop on your players. Also, the fact is that not only my videos, but others can also be viewed on your smart TV if you have the YouTube app. Just remember, Linux for Seniors. And you can read the About section if you're curious about my project. My previous channel had over 450, and I believe this new one is up to about 55 videos. And that's not too bad since I started in the middle of February 2023, and this is, well, the first week of March. So anyways, I would encourage that you subscribe. It's a lot easier as a subscriber to start and stop these kind of videos. So let's move on. How did I achieve all that stuff? Well, first, let's address the fact that we need to probably do screenshots for most things. At least that's highly recommended unless you've got a good memory. So that's why I have a screenshot folder here, and I have some screenshots in it. So if you have seen my videos on Thunar, the file manager, you probably know what I'm doing right now. But more importantly, I have several screenshots of different things. These are special, but I'll show you how to do all that stuff because it comes in handy when you're altering stuff. So again, this is not everybody's cup of tea, but if you are wanting to change some of your menus to something more custom, then continue watching. You know, on my previous channel, I used to say this years ago, you don't have to change anything. You know, you can leave the desktops alone, but this is for the folks that want to do, well, have a little bit of fun possibly with their desktops. And yes, I'm using a mouse pointer that's normally found, not on this distribution, but I have videos on how to install those also. So let's first talk about how to make these icons large, both sides of the house. And of course, you can always resize the boxes to your heart's content. Just find the corner and drag it to whatever size you want. So let's right click on whatever icon that you have here, in most cases the MX logo. And should I give you system information first and get this out of the way? Oh, might as well. Let's do Neofecth. That's probably the simplest one. All right, and so this is MX, the latest version of the Xfce desktop. So the DE is Xfce, and there's the version. Don't read too much into the hardware. I do other stuff with these machines. All right, so you can clearly see the MX logo. All right, we are going to talk about first the size of icons in that MX menu. We are going to right click on this whatever icon that you currently have, which in most cases is the MX logo, and we'll talk about application and category size. There's also opacity, but I think most people, if you're doing opacity, let me just give you a quick example of that. Some people find this annoying, and some people like it. You know, it's all, everybody's cup of tea is different. But I'm going to talk about generally very small, I call these dinky, that's just my name for it, small icons. And then you have just the opposite. I call these humongous or ridiculously large. All right, so get a comfortable size for you. So this is what normal looks like on my screen resolution. I'm filming in 1080 today. I'm filming in 1080 today, not 4K. All right, so that's what normal looks like on my screen resolution, and I like that, so it's comfortable size. So again, you can grab a hold of that corner and resize these things, okay? And I discussed how I added these two icons in my other video when I discussed, I think it was an overview of MX, if you're curious about those. But that's not why you clicked on this video. We're going to talk about icons. So let's first talk about this logo. So we're going to do properties again and appearance. This would be a good time to make maybe a screenshot of what you originally started with. All right, let's do that. So I have the screenshot tool sitting here, But in most cases, you're going to put in SC, and then you can add it to your panel, desktop, or even your favorites. I just happen to have it on my panel bar. So let me click out of here for a second and click the tool. Now, in most cases, let me pull it to the side. In most cases, I don't do entire screens. It makes too big of a screenshot. I either do active window or select region. So active window should take a picture of this box. So one example of this would be, I'm not going to use the mouse pointer, and it's going to give me a mini preview, and then the action is save, and where do you want to send it? I'm going to actually save mine on my desktop just for reference. So now you can clearly see that this is a screenshot of this thing. And I advocate that you do that before you start playing. All right, so the icon thing is down here, and so is the title. I just threw in there Linux for Seniors. If you're wanting to have just the icon, there's just the icon. Lower left, folks, if you're not watching what I'm doing here. And then title only. I'm using icon and title, so you can change your text right in here. Now I'm going to click the icon. Now, since I already altered this, I have no idea what my original path was, right? A lot of people make this mistake. They'll go ahead and select an icon from their own image files. And then they're wanting to go, well, maybe I need to go back and just put the MX logo back for whatever reason. And you're starting to look for that folder, and it's not really visible to you. You know, you went to resend, and none of this is making sense to you. That's where screenshots come in handy. So let me open up this one right here, and let's just see what that looks like. So I did a screenshot before I altered this icon right here. So let me walk you through this one more time. I'm going to use my screenshot as a reference point to go back to change this to the MX logo. Because once you start this process, you may forget the path. So I'm going to click that again. Wait for the system to respond. Then I'm going to go to other locations and computer. In other words, your hard drive. This is an installed copy. This is not a live copy. This is an installed copy of MX Xfce desktop. This is what I was referring to, is the path of where this MX logo is located. So what I'm going to do is follow this screenshot, USR. Scroll down to USR. Double click to open that. Local folder, local, share, and the last one is icons. There is the MX logo. I'm going to pick it, and it's already changed. I'm going to cut the text out, or I can just switch this over to icon only. Now you're back to, close the screenshot. You're back to that, okay? That's what I'm referring to. So now I'm going to put the icon in title and change that back into something different. So you have a couple of choices when you're picking icons. If you are wanting to bring your own icons, I will stop here for a second and talk about your file. I have this turned on to very large icons. I can also reduce those down to nothing. If you haven't seen my videos on Thunar, the file manager, I advise you to go do that. I'm not going to explain this here. So I created this icon folder, not to be confused with a hidden folder called .icons. I'm going to hit Control H and point that folder out to you. I have a folder called .icons, and what is in there is this mouse pointer. Radioactive is currently what I'm using. This is not the folder that I want, so I'm going to hit Control H. Makes it easy. However, I created this folder and called it icons. And I'm going to open this. I'm going to resize this for you on the fly. More importantly, I collected these icons over several years, and I use these for my demos usually. I downloaded a lot of these off the internet. I edited a lot of them. I also just straight downloaded icons off the internet. Like these right here, I usually use when I'm showing videos on how to create web links and assigning those to icons. So they're just icons, folks. All kinds of things are in here. You may recognize some of these icons from the menu. Okay. I'll just put in a D. So there's Darth right there. Actually, I think it's, which one did I use? It's that one right there. That one there is for the games, and this internet one is somewhere in here. I'll just put it on I, see what I can find. That's a different internet icon, but you get the idea. These are just icons. Scroll up, scroll back. Get it to the comfortable size. So again, create your own folder. Put those icons in there. You don't have to call it icons. You can call it whatever folder you want. But more importantly, these are my icons. You don't get these with the system. So again, I collected these over the years, and I just use them for playing. So, or decorating, as one would say. All right, so I'm going to close this box. Now we're clear on this, or are we? No, we're not. So you went here for a second. Before you changed your icon, I would highly suggest you make a screenshot of this. What would happen if you do a regular screenshot of the window? In this case, what it's going to do here, normally the active, let me rephrase that. Normally the active window is this, but however, the screenshot tool is going to take a picture of the back one, the whisker menu back one, that one there. So I'm going to do this again. Active window only, hit OK. Gives me a preview of that, not this. And then I'm going to save it to the desktop just to let you see what it looks like. And this can be confusing to some people. So what I'm going to do is I have 2 of these already. So basically I'm going to delete that one on purpose. I have single click turned on and I really don't like that feature. But anyways, that's another animal. I need to fix that later. So anyways, I need to make a screenshot of this because I want the path before I make any changes. It's important unless you've got a good memory. So in this case, I'm going to use select region and hit OK. And your screen will turn slightly dark and you just grab any spot on the screen. In this case, I'm going to just do that. So I know what that screenshot's like. And then hit save and hit save. So now when I open the screenshot up, I can clearly see that path before I started playing. It's just advisable, folks. It's just advisable. And then after you make all your screenshots, you can, of course, move this folder somewhere in your home folder area or wherever you want to place it. But more importantly, now we're going to hit cancel, and I'm going to hit that all over again. Okay, so let's start from scratch. Now that I made references to screenshot, we're going to right-click, Properties, Appearance, Icon. So I got 2 choices, right? I can choose stuff from the system. These are just icons from the system, folks. Just remember that. They're not applications. So if I wanted to do something silly like that, I could. It's done. But I'm going to use a custom icon. So I'm going to click that again and wait for the system to respond and then switch this from select icon from all icons to image files. And then point to my home folder, and that's the folder I created and deposited all those icons. You could also resize this if you like. So what do we want to use for an icon down here? This is our main icon for the MX menu. We could use silly stuff like that. You know, but I'm gonna use something a little bit better than that Stormtrooper. But more importantly, you can. Now, let me find something that may be more pleasing on the eye, maybe not. Maybe something like that, maybe. Whatever you're into. Click that again. And then I'm going to talk about something interesting sometimes when you're changing certain icons, that the way the screen refreshes. So stay tuned for that information. So I'm going to use this one that says Internet. That's what I started with. It's just a blue ball, and it's what I say, it's just an icon. Doesn't matter what the title is. So now I got this little blue ball here. So a lot of times when you're changing icons in these menus especially, it doesn't do a proper refresh. And there are 2 ways of doing this. First, you can log out of your system, and then you can also perform a command out of terminal. Now I'm going to show you the command. However, I'm not going to perform it because it glitches out my software that records this video, and it'll cut my sound off. Not the video, but the sound off. So I'm going to point to that as soon as I get done editing icons. So we're going to change some of these in here, and not everything is not perfect, and this is not a cup of tea for everyone either. Right click, edit applications. Use a little caution here, folks, and more importantly, screenshots. I would kind of stay away from these guys. You can experiment, but I'm going to pick on this one. So the accessory icon, what does it look like originally? So I got this weird looking Darth Vader guy. So I'm going to first click in here, and it highlights the text. I'm going to borrow it by right-clicking and hitting copy because I don't want to type for it. I'm going to click that, and I have two choices: browse for the system icons or my own. I'm going to browse the system icons. And then I'm going to click this field and right-click with my mouse and paste that. Unless you want to hand type it, that's your decision. So the original icon looks like that, and I'm going to hit apply. And then I'm going to walk over to hit save. What happens when you try to close this? It'll remind you, do you want to save this or not? Okay, I do. So click that little arrow right there, Save Launcher. So technically this has changed. However, sometimes in the menu it doesn't change. It doesn't always happen though. It doesn't always happen. If it doesn't, if your old icon is still holding, then log out of your system. However, you can do this also with terminal. So let me talk about that just briefly. I cannot perform the command while filming because it'll glitch out my sound. That's why I'm just going to show it to you. This will be a good time to hit subscribe. Okay, so basically I'm going to show you my history command buffer. And I'll try to highlight this thing. It's this command right here. Hopefully you can see this. I apologize. I should have resized the terminal fonts, but I didn't. So if you perform that command out of terminal, it will make the screen blink. In other words, it'll do a refresh without me logging out of the system. Since I can't do that while filming, this is the command for that. You can do a screenshot on your system now. Hopefully you're watching this on a large screen. More importantly, subscribe. But that's the one for refreshing the screen. And again, when you perform that command, it just makes everything kind of blink. And then you'll see that your icons will change without logging out of your system. Now I'm going to move on. So we can go to the accessories. I'm using that as a guinea pig. Click, browse icons, and you can change that from anything in here. Okay, I'm using, as soon as you clear the field, by the way, then you've got A through Z. Okay, so you can pick a different, these are just icons, folks, just like the icon folder that I just showed you with my personal icons. So if you want to use that, you can. Hit save and go check your menu. Didn't refresh, did it? No. So in that case, I would probably perform that command. Okay. So basically, I'm going to browse my own files and accessories. So I'm gonna change the icon to something that I like. It's a personal thing, right? So I could use anything in here. And I'll pick this one. Okay, and then I'm gonna do that and close. And it did refresh on that pass. So again, I didn't have to perform that command or log out and log back in is what I'm getting at. So I'll go with that one next. I think in some distributions, if you don't have any games installed, it won't display that icon, but I could be wrong. Again, right click on that icon. Again, if it is the MX icon, then edit applications, MenuLibre, and then we'll go with games. Same deal. Click that, browse icons, pick something that you want to change it to, hit your own, browse folders. And this time I'm just going to click that in here. Again, I'm going to right click and copy that word, click in here, browse the system icons, and paste that word. I'm just looking for the games icon. So I think it's, if I recall, I think it's this one. But you do have a lot of choices though. Like I said, they're just icons. Or it could have been that. I think it's that one. I apologize. I think it's that one actually. So let me apply that. So that would be your standard icon. Okay, so basically it still hasn't done that. So let's close the box and reopen this. Now that's back. And if that still didn't do it, either perform that terminal command or log out of your system. All right, right click, edit applications. It usually does this fairly nicely if you close the box. Let's put it that way. All right, so we're gonna go back and change the game icon to browse files. This will be like if you're bringing in your own icons. Home, icons. And I think I had Darth, so I'm going to just type in D. Because normally when you create your folders, your own personal folder with icons, you can use the search feature, and depending on what you named your icon, in my case mine is called Darth Vader's Saber or something like that. There we go. It found it immediately with one letter. I'm going to do that and close the box and reopen. Now Darth Vader is online. One more example. Right click, edit, and category was internet. What's the original one looks like? Again, click in here. I'm just borrowing the text instead of typing. That's the only reason I'm clicking in there. You don't have to. You can just go in here and browse icon and hand type in internet. Okay, so I believe it's that one right there. Looks like Saturn, the planet. So this, I believe, is what it looks like. Save, close. It looks like that one. Right click, edit, scroll down to internet. I'm going to pick my own, browse files, home, icon folder. And what do we want to pick? I can pick that one. That one looks okay. Yeah, that one looks all right. And it didn't refresh. Still waiting. Didn't refresh. This is what I was talking about. Right click, properties. I'll switch it to something else too. Oh, sorry, wrong. Edit apps. I'm just going to switch it up to something from the system. I'll just use that one briefly. Edit, close. Still holding it. And I just wish I could actually perform that command for you, because otherwise it'll just glitch out my sound. I've already done this before, so that's why I was making a mention of that. So anyways, the important thing is to understand that some of these icons sometimes have a difficult time refreshing your screen. So even though I have already changed that. So anyways, let's pick something different. Just do Darth. Let's try that one more time. Yeah, it changed it. Again, sometimes you just need to, force it, so to speak. So, but now you have a couple of different examples of that. So as a recap, right-click, properties for your application size, appearance for your actual icon and title, and display the title and icon. Don't forget your screenshots. Two different types. You can do window, and then you can do the special one for capturing region. In other words, drawing a box around something. Anyways, folks, hopefully you have subscribed, or at least bookmarked this, and I think that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching.